we've been in camp now for 2 weeks, and this is an opportunity for us to get out for Fan Fest, to mingle with our fans, for our players, to have an opportunity to see the faces of the people in the stands. But it's also a great opportunity for a lot of the kids and supporters of this program to get an opportunity to get to know their players. You know, they see them on the field, and they know them by number because they got a helmet on, and now all of a sudden they get an opportunity to talk to them, meet the person behind the helmet, behind the number a little bit. And so this is a great day for us. I mean, we went through the team photos today and then doing this Fan Fest, and we did it yesterday in Shreveport, and this is something that I think our players enjoy doing as well, having the opportunity to intermingle.
Well, I'm sure a few fans are going to ask you, any closer to naming a starting quarterback?
Well, we are. We get closer every day, I think, but like we said, when we feel like one has outright taken it, then we'll name it. We haven't put a date on it. It's kind of like you don't necessarily say, okay, when I'm going to get married on this day. I mean, first you got to find out which one it's going to be. And so we haven't just said this is the day for the announcement, but I'd like to do it as quick as possible, and I want to do it as soon as somebody will take the lead. And I think tonight will go a long way in our first scrimmage tonight under the lights and making that evaluation.
What are you expecting out of the scrimmage tonight?
Going to get a lot done. We're going to get about 20 reps in the kicking game, where we'll get all 4 phases of the big 4: punt, punt return, kickoff, return. We'll get an opportunity to scrimmage those tonight, and then we're probably going to have a 100-play scrimmage. We'll probably get about 30 or 40 reps with our 1s, 2s, and 3s. We want to make some evaluations on where our underclassmen are, or where our freshmen are, and who is ready to play at this point. They've been in the system for 2 weeks. They've had an opportunity to learn it and practice it, and this is test day. And then we've got a lot of competitions going on at depth charts, right, for the depth chart right now. And so this is a huge scrimmage, because after this one we'll start to identify our 2 deep, who we're going to start working with, which freshmen are going to play, and then we'll start getting into a little bit more of the season and what we're going to do in the first 3 or 4 games of the year next week. So I think this is a huge scrimmage. This is a big test day for this team.
Overall, how do you think that the freshmen and the new folks that have come in have handled everything?
I think the freshmen have done a great job. It's a very talented class, and I talked a lot about, when you sign a class, you can watch them on film, meet them as people, you don't really know what you have. But as you start to get them on the field and practice them, and they start to get more and more comfortable, I think it's a special class. There's probably 2 wide receivers that'll play as freshmen, 2 running backs that'll play as freshmen. There's a safety, there's a linebacker, possibly a defensive end. I mean, there's quite a few players in this class that are going to contribute, and we're going to need their depth. But overall, I think in evaluating the freshman class, I think it's excellent.
Coach, you talk about how many freshmen you do have that are going to contribute, that you expect to contribute.
Yes.
What is really the number you look for in a signing class that you want to contribute in their first year?
You'd like to have none. I mean, you'd like to say that your upperclassmen are so solid in your depth chart and what you've identified and how they've developed at this point, being in your program for a number of years. You'd love to redshirt all freshmen. But I've always said that freshmen get the opportunity to play because there's a hole in the depth chart ahead of them. And so when there's a hole in and they come in and they work for it, they have their chance. So I don't know that there's a magical number. I've always said when you're playing with upperclassmen, it's always better playing with guys that are 23 years old, been in your program 4 and 5 years, rather than guys first year.
Well, then maybe what were you expecting this year whenever you looked at the class?
I don't know. I came in with an expectation, but I did feel like there was a number of players that were going to be good enough to contribute with some of the holes that we had coming out of spring practice. When I look at some of the injuries that have happened, we've had a couple guys that have missed a little time, and that's created an opportunity for some guys to really get some reps and step up. And so, we may get into the 3rd or 4th game of the year, have 2 or 3 injuries, and one of the freshmen right now, we're anticipating redshirt. We may have to take that red shirt off of him in order for him to play. So we've got to develop them all right now, but I feel like I've really been pleased with the way this class has come in and the number of young guys that are going to have a chance to contribute.
Why did you move Tevin to receiver?
Just because Tevin has really struggled. I mean, maintaining his weight or getting the weight on to be a tailback, and with the injuries he's had since his arrival here in Ruston, that he'd be better suited in space, getting him out in space. We talked about doing it a year ago, really didn't have the depth at running back to be able to do it. And so this year, with the development of the 2 freshman running backs, it's given us an opportunity to move him out. He missed, I think, about 5 or 6 games last year with injuries. In spring practice, dislocated his ankle, has fought hard to come back, and I just don't want to see him at 165 pounds go back out there running up in between the tackles and get injured again. And so it's a move that he's embraced. It's one that he's enjoyed and he seems to like, and I think he's doing a good job with it.
I know you can or don't like to comment on certain injuries, but is there a concern with Paul Turner?
Yeah, I mean, Paul's had a nagging injury. He necessarily hasn't been out, but he's very limited, and I worry as we go through the season, how much is that going to hinder his progress and his development as a wide receiver. I do worry about that.
Overall, as a team, what do you feel like the general health is? Are you ahead of where you should think?
No, I think we're very healthy right now. We've only had one live scrimmage, and that was a goal line short yardage scrimmage that we have. Hopefully, we can come out of tonight healthy. You know, this is a day that, as a coach, you always hold your breath because you got to scrimmage, you got to tackle, you got to block, you got to play the game live, and you just hold your breath that you can come out of scrimmages like these healthy. But right now, I feel really good about where we are. I think it's a real tribute to Coach Hester for the job that he did and these players and the commitment they made in the off season. We don't have a lot of the soft tissue injuries of the hamstring pulls and a lot of the muscle deals, but we've got a couple guys that are bumped and bruised, but I think overall the health in camp has been excellent 2 weeks in.
Can you touch on the togetherness of the team compared to last year? I've heard a lot from players over these last 2 weeks saying that they're a close-knit group as opposed to last year. What are your thoughts?
Very close-knit. Totally different feel this team than the one a year ago. I think every team is different, but we always talk about coming together and giving up your individuality for the good of this team. The more that you invest in it, the more time you put into it, the more we're going to get out of it. And I've really been impressed with the way the leaders on this team have really kind of made it a togetherness. I say a year ago after Fan Fest, the players were talking about, can we go with our families? We've been in camp. Can we go our own way? This team said, Coach, can we do something together as a team? Can we do something together? Can we go to a movie? Can we do something? I think it's just the difference in this team and last year's team, and they get it and they understand it, and they're starting to understand the role that plays during the course of the season, the closeness and the togetherness that we have in the team.
More questions? Any other depth chart issues or just too deep that you're looking to get out of tonight other than quarterback?
Quarterback's a big one, and then some of those depth chart issues are with those freshmen. With some of the freshmen, whether or not they're going to be in the 2 deep, and if you're going to take the red shirt off them, and if they're going to be able to be in the dirty dozen. There's a couple battles going on the offensive line right now where we feel like we have 7 or 8 guys that are really playing well. Jens Danielson, I'm just going through the guys that have been quote backups, to this point. Jens Danielson's had a great camp and really is playing like a starter. I think Mahaffey and Wixon are really doing a good job and deserve to be in that consideration. And so I think there's about 8 guys right now that are really vying and fighting for playing time on that offensive line. I think there's a heck of a battle going on right now with backup linebackers. Right now with that position, I think there's some battles going on at the tight end position with Josh Gaston and Andy McLendon, who's moved inside, and Eddie Johnson, who's moved inside. I think there's a lot of them that are. It's not necessarily going to be earth-shattering, but a lot of guys that are competing. Who's going to be 1? Who's going to be 2?
Last question.
With Tevin moving, obviously it opens up a little bit more space for the running back. Besides Blake, who's probably going to be your number 2 behind Dixon, any the freshmen that they're going to get a chance?
I think from what I've seen 2 weeks in, Jared Kraft and Tywan Walters are special. I mean, they're both really special players, and right now, from what I've seen 2 weeks in, both of those 2 young men will play as true freshmen at the running back position. And as I said, their development and coming along and what they've done in practice is what made me feel comfortable enough to be able to move Tevin outside to get a little bit more depth on the perimeter.